What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Let's look at this. This is Dr. Umar School.
We must push, brothers and sisters. 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 It is the Prince of Pan-Africanism standing here on the sacred grounds of the most anticipated independent African school in modern history, the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG, International Leadership Academy for Pan-African Excellence. Brothers and sisters, we shall open the school. We will open the school. We are here on Ifatunde Avenue, Dr. Papa Boulevard, and we are serving notice to the universe, to the world, to all brothers and sisters of the race around the planet that we will, in fact, renovate the Marcus Garvey Elementary School. We will, in fact, renovate the Nat Turner Jean-Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium. We will renovate the great Honorable Frederick Douglass High School. The work will be done, brothers and sisters. The work will be done, brothers and sisters. The work will be done, brothers and sisters. Yes, it is a long journey. Yes, it is a tough journey. But guess what? The greatest of things don't come easy. We have to do the work, brothers and sisters. We have to do the work, brothers and sisters. We have to do the work. Hit your Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Mail in your checks or money orders. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. We must finish the work. We must finish the work. We must finish the work, brothers and sisters. We must finish the work. Our boys need this school. Our girls need this school. Our community needs a meeting place where we can come together and congregate in private and strategize the liberation of African people globally. I am here. I am here, brothers and sisters, to let you know that I'm still pushing. Came down here to get some work done today. I'm here to let you know we're still pushing, brothers and sisters. Had to bring some sage to the Orishas. Bring some sage to the egg base. Bring some sage to the Agungun, to the ancestors, to call on the spirit of the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the most honorable Frederick Douglass, to call on the spirit of the great prophet and general Nat Turner and Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I had to call on the spirits, brothers and sisters. We have to do this. It is a new year. We will win. We're getting ready. I'm just asking you, brothers and sisters, to choose a side. I don't mind if you're not on my side, but please don't play the fence. I don't mind if you're not on my side, but please don't play the fence. I want you to choose where you stand and stand there. I don't want no half-timers and I don't want no part-timers. I want full-timers. To be a Dr. Umar supporter, a FDMG Crusade supporter, you got to be a full-timer, no part-time. This is no part-time job, full-time or not at all. Get off the damn fence, choose a side and stand on it. But I promise you the doors of this school will be open one day and they will be open one day soon. I promise you the most honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School will be renovated. I promise you the most honorable Frederick Douglass High School, it will be renovated, brothers and sisters. It will be, not if, but only when. No more ifs, only when, brothers and sisters. I can't wait for the grand opening, the first annual Unapologetically African Family First Festival and Conference. I said the first annual Unapologetically African Family First Festival and Conference. I said the first annual Unapologetically African Family First Festival and Conference, brothers and sisters. We will get the job done. Oh, we will succeed. Oh, we will succeed, brothers and sisters. There is no if, there is only a win. No if, no if, no if, there is only a win. All right. Okay. Only a win. Yes, indeed, we are in the Nat Turner Jean-Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium. We got the plumbers coming to fix the water. We're going to figure out the water, brothers and sisters. But we have light inside. We have light inside the Nat Turner Jean-Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. The school is coming. The school is coming, brothers and sisters. The school is coming, yes, indeed. The lights are on in the gymnasium. The school is coming, brothers and sisters. The sinks are in good shape. The sinks are in good shape, brothers and sisters. But we're going to have to replace the toilets. We're going to have to replace the toilets. We got to replace the toilets and we got to replace the urinal. We're going to have to replace the urinal, brothers and sisters. That's not nothing. We can go ahead and buy the urinal. We can go ahead and buy the urinal, brothers and sisters. That ain't no problem. We'll be able to do that. We'll be able to do that. Let's go into the girls' bathroom. Let's go into the girls' bathroom. See what we got. Girls' bathroom, we have to replace the toilets, brothers and sisters. We have to replace the toilets, but the sinks are in good shape. The sinks are in good shape, brothers and sisters. The sinks are in good shape in the girls' bathroom. The sinks are in good shape. Okay, we got to replace the toilet, brothers and sisters. Somebody came in here, and that's what they did to us, brothers and sisters. That's what they did to us, brothers and sisters, but we have the lights on. We have the light.
What's going on, everybody? Power to the people, man. We back to do maintenance. And yep, we about to rock like crack when it came in. I got the good brother with me tonight. I got my brother Metu Hotep in the building. Y'all have heard this guy with me on several different podcasts. Y'all heard him with me. I think, man, we did some streams and stuff like that together in the past. But man, we here, man, and you wanted to talk about Umar, man. I was showing off his school that he bought, but this is the second part or the second installment of is Dr. Umar worth his fame and notoriety? And one thing that I take particular exception to is Umar bouncing up and down, talking about black queen this, black queen that, queen, the sisters got to do this, the sisters got to do that. And you mean to tell me out of all of the women, me and you done both been over at Better Family Life, man, where we come up in there, man, it ain't nothing but fine ass women from wall to wall in a school gymnasium. And listen, that's not one place that he's been, but he be doing 40 and 50 city tours because he ain't got no job. His job is to go and do speaking engagements in the black community. And I have been in those speaking engagements where he'll go and he'll do a before party, an after party on top of a performance. And you mean to tell me, man, you ain't found one woman worth marrying, but you get on top of everybody else for marrying somebody or who they want to be with? I feel like it's game. But what say you, man? Go ahead, introduce the people to who you are, man, and go ahead and say what you want to say, boss. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. We can't hear you. Check your mic. Check your mic. Yeah. Check your mic. All right. While he's getting his mic worked out, we're gonna talk about this Dr. Umar. Now, in this video right here,
we must push, brothers and sisters. 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 It is the Prince of Pan-Africanism standing here on the sacred grounds of the most anticipated independent African school in modern history, the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, RBG, International Leadership Academy for Pan-African Excellence. Brothers and sisters, we shall open the school. We will open the school. We are here on Ifatunde Avenue, Dr. Papa Boulevard, and we are serving notice to the universe, to the world, to all brothers and sisters of the race around the planet that we will, in fact, renovate the Marcus Garvey Elementary School. We will, in fact, renovate the Nat Turner Jean Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium. We will renovate the great Honorable Frederick Douglass High.
Man, and listen, man, I want y'all to really sit back and really peep game. I want y'all to sit back and peep game. Now, this man, he done took all of this money and he done collected all of these donations. He collected all of these donations for this school, man. And all with all of this money he didn't collected for this school. He couldn't get no glass doors, man. He couldn't get no glass doors. A set of glass doors right there would have cost him about 2,500. A set of glass doors would have cost him 2,500. Now this man been fundraising for 10 years. Been fundraising for 10 years, and the best you could do is this boarded up old ass school. Come on, man. Come on, say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. Let's continue, man. Let's really pick this school out and let's see what we working with this school.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. We back. We in business.
All right, man. We looking at the school, man. Introduce yourself to the people. Tell them who you are, and what your relevancy is.
All right. Hotel family. My name is Metu Diallo. I'm a comedic Pan African. Activist for the liberation for Black people. Good to see you again, my brother Trent. Actually, me and the organization was the first to bring Umar here to St. Louis in 2012. I first brought our brother, good scholar, phenomenal brother. His name is Kabahal Arthur Kamene. I brought him here in 2012. And then after that, it would kind of spinball into a lecture series. So we started off with Kaba, and then we had Professor Griff, Umar, and Dr. Wells. So, that lineup was even powerful back in 2012. This was right after the release of the Hidden Colors 2. No, the first Hidden Colors. And Umar actually stayed at my homeboy's house. That's in Swansea. Good brother, Quafer. And so I actually heard about Umar through Sarnetta. Sarnetta was the first person I heard Umar through. Yeah. And then when I saw him in Hidden Colors, I'm like, okay, so he kind of blew up with the Hidden Colors thing. But this whole school narrative things have really been going on since 2009, 2010. And this dude is obviously on narcotics. Because I've heard many stories of what was going on. As a matter of fact, I remember me and two sisters, we went to Kansas City, Kansas, to see him lecture there. And it was a whole nother scandal. This was before the so-called content script. It was a whole scandal there that I saw on a personal level. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? But like you said, we go. I mean, you've been to a lot of the events that I've been to and that put together, and I mean, even brought people to see. You know what I'm saying? So me and you got that connection. But to see him talk about where are the queens, where are the sisters, all these events going on, you ain't see not one woman, really.
Exactly. You ain't found one woman.
You ain't found one woman since 2010.
You ain't found one woman worth marrying in how many years? See, this is a picture. I got a picture on the screen, man. This me and you back in 2015.
2015, the Million Man March.
Million Man March. So we've been at this for a while doing this.
Yes, sir.
For a while, right? Now, I preference that to say that with this guy, he started collecting donations at your event
right
almost 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago.
Now, out of 10 years of money collection, the best you can present is this school.
Yeah, no, it ain't even, it's an abandoned building. Because what's so interesting about it is he got hot because he got upset because people made him get the GoFundMe. See, go with GoFundMe, there is accountability. We can trace the money. You can't trace it with Cash App. You can't trace it with PayPal. You can't trace it with a money order. Or a check. Because I remember he came to St. Louis. He came here. What was so crazy is we brought him here in 2012, and then he came back in 2013, and then all of a sudden he started bringing himself here. So he went around us to do the events, and now we looking stupid. People like, what's going on? We didn't even know he was coming. I mean, you do what you want to do, it's your money, but if it wasn't for us, he wouldn't be able to have the notoriety that we put in for him. And then he was bringing his own vendors and stuff. He was kind of pretty much low key shitting on us after we didn't put him on the pedestal. Same thing he did with Tyreek Nasheed. But what's so interesting about it is he came here and there's a organization right here on Maffett called Sabaye. They have a physical clinic in Ghana. We've been trying to raise money to keep this facility together. Umar came, I think it was in 2015 or something, and the people of St. Louis donated over $5,000 to this man. The school, the hospital, the clinic that they have in Ghana is still need help with funding. They funded him, and then he come up with these abandoned buildings and coming up with all these excuses. Oh, look at the plumbing. It's the HVAC. This dude collected over $3 million. Over $3 million because on GoFundMe only had like $750,000. That's still enough to get some stuff. But let's go outside of that. $750,000. This building, these abandoned buildings, we ain't gonna call them no school. These abandoned buildings that he ended up purchasing, $400,000. So that leave over $300,000 on the table. Now where is that money going? The reason why he even got these bills, I don't think he really wanted it. GoFundMe kept getting messages about fraudulent activity, so he had to grab something, and he just grabbed those abandoned buildings. But even when he was ranting about how much money was raised with GoFundMe, $400,000 for the building. Where's the 300 some extra $1,000? That should at least get the electric on, the water on. There is even documentation of people wanted to give him services for free. He said no, he wanted the money.
I mean,
There's a real good documentary called it's called Shockumentary. This dude, I really don't, he's on some other stuff, but the information he put out is accurate. It's by the guy named Leon Honor. Silly dude, but it is what it is. But you look at that document, you like, wow, man, this Umar just he put his foot in his mouth.
The problem that I have with these doctors or these people who come out in the name of African and Black consciousness is that they take something that is uniquely sacred to us as Black people, and they grab and pull at the heartstrings, and then they turn back around and pimp out the very people who they say that they're trying to help.
Right, that's taking the page right out of white supremacy. They do that with Red Cross. They do it all these organizations where people, there is a service that's needed, funds are put there, and you misappropriate the funds. You're just taking the page out of this white man's book.
See, for me with Dr. Umar, if we're gonna call him a doctor, the problem is that the Breakfast Club keeps bringing him back on a national platform to promote his level of consciousness, but when they bring him on that national platform, they leave several things out. And some of the things that they are leaving out is that what he's talking about in the spirit of divisiveness, it just does not work. We're gonna disqualify this sister because she got weave in her hair. And if you don't if you use the white man's deodorant we're gonna kick you out of our school because
But
we
look,
want.
this the thing. Money is green, so ain't no telling. You
There
don't know
you
who's been donating this money. That could be the same people that you have been donating the most money. You're gonna try to keep them out. Matter of fact, we live in America. You can't segregate a school.
that's
You
that
can't say
but
okay because you tall, you can't come in here because yeah you're way too much. You come up in here. Come on, man. That's not gonna happen.
but you and I are conscious thinkers. But there are also some people in the conscious community who are fanatical to a certain degree, and they are a little bit overzealous in their pursuit of right and grateful, right and righteous living, so to say. And so, what you do is you get all of these retired or failed Baptist preachers who come and corral the masses of black folks, and then they say that they give a bunch of promises that they ultimately never live up to. With Umar with this school, if we donated to the school, then we are all partners in that school to a certain degree.
Right.
Tariq Nasheed with the Hidden Colors, if we donate to Hidden Colors, then the success and the money gained from the Hidden Colors should not. I'm not saying that it should be given to an individual. However, this money should be given back to the community in
I mean,
some
but
way.
a lot of times it is. Tyreek he paid for funerals, so he give out to orphanages. So he really is putting some work in. But even when you look at the Black Star Line with Garvey, everybody who donated had a stock in it. They still had a say so in what was going on. It
But
wasn't Garvey's boats. This was the community's ships.
my point is, if you paying out to funerals, you're paying for this, you're paying for that. That's unearmarked. You could bury somebody for $10,000 to $15,000, and if you pay for 10 funerals, that's $150,000. But if you got $50 million off of the film, and the equity that the community invested was, let's just say, 40% of the budget, or it was 40% of the budget or 40% of the total makeup of the film, then 40% should be dispersed back into the community.
Right. I mean, true, but you also just like with the nation, when people donated to Million Man March, all that stuff costs money, from the microphones to the all this stuff costs the cameras, the permits. Even with him traveling he got to pay all these different speakers. So I'm not really counting that brother's pocket because he didn't say this was uh he didn't say that this had to do with what Umar was talking about. Umar saying this is my school. This is mine. But if it was yours, then why didn't you finance it? And then he also knocks reparation. But it's like, man, look, he is not a what they call a foundation of Black America. But he'll say some stuff like, we don't need a check because we ain't together. Okay, in that case, then why didn't you say that when it comes to the school? You know what? Don't send me no money from the school. We ain't organized well enough. But when it come to you, we ready. But when it comes to the group, it's like, nah, we shouldn't be getting it. But you made a good point when we talked about it earlier. Once I get them, because when you look at all the other groups that got their money, we're gonna figure the shit out when we get it. There's an old saying that says people say money don't buy you love. Whoever said money don't buy you love must be broke.
There you go. I did say that earlier because you have to have chips to play in the game. And what I'm speaking just towards business. If I go to the bank and let's say that I use the bank's funding to finance my business. Okay, if I got $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 of the bank's money, and I take that to my car dealership, and I got $500,000 worth of cars, then the bank is gonna say, "Hey, I'm putting a lien against your business for my
Mhm.
500,000 against all of the assets until we get back to this $500,000. Everything over is yours. But once we have substantiated this 500 G's, then look, all bets are off. And you're gonna pay me back every month at this time at this percentage rate.
Right.
That's what they say. And so, my point is that with Umar, Umar comes out and he writes a whole bunch of unquantifiable checks.
Right.
Like I won't see. Listen, when I choose my queen, I gotta have a sister that is so fine that she gonna make King Kong shit a brick. Dude, you got 3 months, you got 3 kids. Why
Right.
you ain't married none of your baby mamas?
Or not, or with your kid. And then look, even with the project he got with this, what really makes me mad about it is there are legitimate people trying to do the same thing. That got the team, that got everything together. Now you done made it harder for people to fund them, and they legitimate. You know how black people is. If one barber do you wrong, we ain't mess with no black barber.
Right.
So there are people that have been trying to do it and they've been struggling to even get the money. Why didn't he just fundicate that money to them? And then he keeps saying, I got a team. He's out there. Look at where he at. He's out there by himself. You can't take on a project of a school. You got taxes. You got so many permits you gotta get, you got accountants you gotta pay. That take a team. You doing this all by yourself because I don't think he really thought about it. But when the money started coming in, it overwhelmed him, and he just kind of rolling with this lie. But I really think he's gonna sell that on probate, because he ain't making no money for the city. He's not doing anything with it. Probably sleeping up in there. We already seen him get evicted from his house. You don't even own a house, but yeah, you can try to own a school, these abandoned buildings. Look what the video we were just showing. He walked in there, there's water on the floor. Oh, we got to bring the plumbers in there. You didn't know the water was on the floor.
But
he walked
if
through
you got
the
water
bathroom,
on the floor,
bathrooms ain't fixed.
listen, he got into a Baptist preacher role, and
true.
the nigga started testifying. But if you got water on the floor, that shit coming from a roof, nigga. You need a roofer, not a plumber. What a plumber gonna do for you?
Right, but he think he fooling somebody. Who you fooling? Those of us that know business know that. No, come on, man, really.
Bro,
And every time he walks through there, he's shocked just as much as we shocked. Oh, the bathroom fixed. Oh, look what's going on here. He haven't even did a walkthrough through the place himself.
Man, listen. This is the heist of the century that he pulled off. He got
true.
this school, and
just called it abandoned building.
But listen,
abandoned building.
He got this abandoned building. Well, listen, he got this hustle property. Okay, he got this hustle property. Right. But let's talk about the things that could be fixed that haven't been fixed, like power washing them goddamn steps, bro. Right. It don't take no whole bunch of money, dude, to get a power washer, man. Right. Painting the building. You could have painted that building,
man. Getting new doors. It don't cost that much. Dude, he still got the same door he got when they so-called purchased. Same door, same wood, and same graffiti on the wall. Look at the same little beat up tree. The windows are still boarded up, and you didn't have this school since 2015, 2016.
Who is enrolling in Fair East Side in the year 2022? Dude, man, Lean on Me came out in 1989. Okay, nigga, this is Fair East Side. You smoke crack, don't you, Sims? Come on, man. Come on, man. Crazy, man. He over there. He done went over here and then found East Side High, man. Joe Clark that passed away. You feel me? Come on, man. The gays came in.
He purchased this property in 2018, 2017. Why do it look like that? Since 2018?
That's my point.
Come on, man. Let's give it 2017. You had this since 2017.
You're not gonna run game on me. He ain't
Right.
paid no 400,000 for that shit.
But
Because
that was the selling price. I think he paid
all
because he had the money. So let's give it 400,000. Now that was the selling price. He didn't want to get it, but he had to show something. So he had to grab just whatever the fuck he could at the
do
time.
you know that there's an accountant in St. Louis named Jason Thornton who has broke down Umar Johnson from a financial perspective?
You have to send me that. I've never seen that.
Man, dude, he
So
got
can you post that link up? When you show that video?
he got a YouTube channel called Pocket Watching with JT, and he explains why the money that Umar accounted for, that was after they had to actually go to the IRS on Umar to actually get him to produce receipts for this school. Okay?
Hustle property.
Because this, like the first Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey fund that he came up with, that money, he had that money just sitting there, and the government asked him, "Hey, where's this money? Why come you ain't paid taxes on it?"
Right.
You know, because it's technically counted as income. He said
Right.
he ain't know how to do it. They told him to stop. They told him to stop collecting money on the behalf of the on the behalf under the name of you gonna open up this school because your paperwork is wrong. And when they told him that, he went back and he got a different business tax ID and started collecting money.
I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
So this is Pocket Watching with JT, and he got like 3 or 4 different videos that he talks about that he goes into it on. He got this one where he talks about the government shut him down. You know, as you can see, man, I'm subscribed to this channel or whatever, but he breaks it down where he goes and he pulls up the IRS transcript and he talks about it. I'm gonna post this link in the chat. If you subscribe to me and you want to get your financial weight up, I suggest everybody go and subscribe to Jason or what have you. He's here in St. Louis. You know, this is my account.
I definitely like to check it out. See, the whole thing with Umar is, man, just go and give it up. Because I think I hate to say this, but I think the only way this is gonna stop is if they lock this dude up.
And you don't want that for a black man.
I don't want that for a black man. That's the only way that's gonna stop this thing. Because it's like, man, just let it go. Just let it go. Won't you just come out and say, you know what? I'm going to pay for a counseling. I have some problems going on. Just be straight up with people. People like, okay, all right.
Come on, man.
At least people, because the best apology is change behavior. When people like, oh, know what? All right, at least we see he trying to work on himself. It's obviously something wrong with you. All right, cool.
Man, he get like, why do they keep? We need to boycott Diddy because he should be barred from going on the Breakfast Club with that bullshit. Real talk, we need to boycott P. Diddy or Diddy or Love, whatever the hell, Puffy, whatever he called, Sean Combs, all 6 of them niggas, they all need to be boycotted because he's allowed to keep going on television with all of this propaganda. Now, this fool said that Deion Sanders was wrong to leave Jackson State, and I'm glad that I got you here because I actually thought about you last night when I did this topic where I touched on the real history of the HBCUs. And so, you know, could you kind of share with the folks what the real history is behind HBCUs about these black societies? I'm sorry, these black fraternities, black secret societies, and stuff like that. Can you speak to that, please?
Okay, I'll speak a little bit on it. I don't know it in depth as I used to. I'm you know, I know I'm young, but I jumped off the porch early. But the reason why a lot of these HBCUs were put together was to keep black people from getting jobs up north. So it was just funding black people up down south to keep us down south, so they won't get them jobs up north. And a lot of these, majority of them was named after white supremacists. But then you got these fraternities. You know, you have the Browns Fellowship. You know, these black people that don't want to be identified as black people. The what was another one? But the women, it was called the Blue Vein Society. Or you have to be light enough to see your blue veins. And then you had a lot of churches that had that segregated thing with the brown paper bag test. And a lot of these fraternities still do that. And then I hate to say, a lot of times you kind of see that. I don't want to. I still love and respect them, but you kind of see that in the Nation of Islam. Why are all they prominent figures in a nation light skinned? You got to kind of wonder, like, why everybody light?
There
Because you
you
got
go.
some dark skinned people. You had Dr. Khalid, and then you got Akbar Muhammad, but you don't see them pushed in the forefront. You see Nuri, more much respect to the brother. You have Ishmael, you have the minister, you have Dr. Wesley. You got all these people. Why they all light skinned? But this no, I ain't shitting on nobody because I respect all of them. I respect the nation and their contribution. But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that, it's like there's this, and then I even hate it because our brother Dr. Clark was pointing out how a lot of these people are just nothing but pissed off Baptist preachers. They're not really Muslim. They're pissed off Baptist preachers.
I touched on that yesterday. Last night we did a show where we talked about Dion and why he was right to leave Jackson State, and I start talking about the black secret societies like the
Right.
Boule. I start talking about how when you get the Divine Nine fraternities,
Right.
these are bastardized organizations of like the Yale fraternities, like the Order of the Skull and Bones and the
Right. And another
Illuminati.
thing, and then also, I don't want to cut you off. Also, look at the work of our good brother Steve Coakley, peace be upon him. He broke it down about the Boule perfectly.
See, I already told them to go check out brother Steve Coakley
Brother
last
Steve,
night, but
I
go.
knew the brother personally. He came here to St. Louis before. And I think I spoke to him like a month and a half before he made this transition. When he went to he said, if I ever go to the hospital, they're gonna kill me. Going there, and that's a short story with that. But Steve Coakley break all that down. I'm not as versed on what he said as I should be, but y'all go check out Steve Coakley as he break down the bootleg.
You ain't got to be burst on what Steve Coakley said because it's one thing he said, and I live my life by this. The one thing that Steve Coakley said that I always remember, he said, brothers and sisters, I'm looking around and I'm looking at you, and I'm going to know which one of y'all got the message because it's going to be permeated in all of your ways. And when I see some of y'all slacking off and jacking off, I know that y'all ain't got the message yet. You feel me? And
Right.
so when we are talking about black advancement and black historical progression, then we have to be hypercritical of things that are the antithesis to progression. Like
Right.
you and I were both at the Million Man March, and I can't speak for you, but what I can personally say for myself is that I feel like going to the Million Man March was something that, in retrospect, I feel like I can go and undo. I feel like I could go back because
Mm.
I study, Dr. John Henry Clark. He's my favorite historian.
Mm-hmm.
And John Henry Clark said Farrakhan did
Mm.
a
Here we go.
grandstanding to the nation
All right.
to show what type of power he had. He called it Million Man Forward for Atonement. But what were you atoning for?
He said there is no march in Washington. He's saying ain't no march on Washington. It's a march in Washington.
There you go. And so he said, now you gave all of your money to the black rental, to the white rental car companies, to the white hotels, to
The
the
White
white
Plains.
gas stations, to the white luggage makers. to the white concierge. You done went and spent all of this money with white folks trying
They want you.
doing
They
something.
want you to come do it again.
There you go. I mean, they just had a another conference in DC for what do you call it? Damn, Tariq hosted it. It was just in
To
DC.
reparations.
The
Rally.
reparation, and this was somebody who was vehemently against marching. And so instead of calling it a march, you call it a rally, but it's basically just a march.
This is right.
And so we over time, and I heard somebody say this, and I think that I think that this is part and parcel with how things are. But in the black community, you see a bunch of Baptist church headed and manned by people that are 70, 80 years old, 90 years old. They don't have no fight in them. And you always get these organizations where Farrakhan is still the head of the Nation of Islam, and he's basically on his deathbed. But black folks have been so devoid of power that when they finally get it, they don't want to hand it to somebody who's 35 years old or 40
Yeah,
years old that still got the fight left in them, still got some whoop ass left in them. You
Right.
always give it to somebody who's old and effeminized because they can't fight anymore. They
yeah.
fight.
Another one of my our great ancestors. I really enjoy him. I know you respect him a lot. Our good brother, Dr. Amos Wilson.
Yep. Yeah.
Dr. Amos Wilson said, "We suffer from powerlessness."
Yep.
You know
And
what I'm
Dr.
saying?
Amos Wilson was a real psychologist, not that Umar shit. But go ahead.
Right. Dr. Amos would say we suffer from power, and then also Dr. Clark. I love Dr. Clark. He said that we suffer from a very severe disease that a lot of people can never overcome, and that's called ego starvation.
Mm.
Umar is ego starved. You know what I'm saying? Because ego means European god of oppression. So he loves this. Because his followers are wounded women who have this thing for, oh, he's a father figure, he just that and other, but he hasn't produced any tangibles, nothing. Abandoned buildings, and and he got people. I remember he had an event up there at those buildings, and he was emailing the vendors, when you come, bring your own water. That's not even sanitary.
Right.
You gonna tell these people to bring their own water with them? So what's gonna happen if somebody needs to use the restroom? You don't even got no running water there. You don't have no electricity. You out there doing the events run on a generator.
Right.
Now come on, man. Come on, let's get for real. I've done events. I don't have much money, but I've been more successful than he has, man.
There you go.
Just like when I had my hair show, I had 3 successful hair shows, and it has popped every rip.
But you are the thing that I gotta applaud you on, and the thing that I gotta tell you is that as somebody who is in somebody who's in business, the brothers who come from the grassroots, who come from the streets, you are what America really truly is. And so when you have a Dr. Umar who sits here and talks about black folks don't need reparations in form of cash payments, then it's your ancestors and it's my ancestors who are the foundation of what America is today, because you are the movers and the shakers that can take nothing, flip it over and turn it into something. I go into rooms with MBAs, people with all types of finance degrees, bro. I'm working with a high school diploma, a couple red books, and Mythbusters. That's it. And I can put a financial analyst to shame, because everything that they believe that they know is based on having resources.
Right. But even with my events, what made my events so successful, and I appreciate that, is that I'm like I said, I'm grassroots. I was able to go straight to the people. I'm on the bus. I was on public transportation with my flyer to see a sister with natural hair. And they would come. It was a natural hair event. Then I was bringing scholars in. I'm reaching the people. Our good sister Fannie Lou Hamer said, the bourgeois Negroes ain't helping. It's the ghetto niggas that's gonna make a difference. It's those of us who know what the light is at the end of the road. Matter of fact, I get the biggest hustle on the last minute when it's like few days before the event. I make the biggest moves right before the event. But these people who so called polished up, our brother Nick Gregory said if he became president, all of his chief of staff he can't have no more than a 4th to 5th grade education. Because it seems like the more educated we become, the less worthy we are to the community.
There you go.
Because I got degrees now. I don't tell people I got degrees now, but I feel ashamed when paid all that money and very little what I do now. Well, nothing that I do now I had to do anything with the degrees I paid for. I'm a graphic designer. I didn't get a degree in that. I just learned that when I was 5 years old and just elevated from the canvas to the computer. But I got degrees. I don't even tell people. I'm just like, well, I went to high school because it's a shame. It's shameful to me to have degrees. All I can do is just put that on the wall. I could have designed that and put that shit up on wall myself for free.
There you go. There you go. I mean, when you have money cripples you to a certain degree because it's the lack of having the lack of having is what propels you to learn and propels you to be resourceful. And then also puts a internal fire in you to actually get stuff done.
Right.
Now you have with you doing your speeches and doing your different events, and you bring in folks in, then you are somebody where if you were given resources, you could become Al Heyman, or you could become a Live Nation or Ticketmaster or any of these big people, because when you go in and you say Ticketmaster at the bank will give you a $5 million loan or a $50 million loan.
Right.
Because you have brand recognition.
Right.
But when guys like you and I go into the SBA and we come in with a plan, dude, they kick us to the all the way to the back. If we try to go,
that's why
go ahead.
It's like when people say money changes people. Money don't change people. Money reveals people. People don't understand. You can be stingy broke. You can be a woman beater with no money. Don't think because he got money he became that. So whatever Umar is now, he was that when he didn't have shit. He was that way now.
Well, I mean, this is somebody who preaches about he's looking for a queen with three kids, bro. You had 3 queens.
Right.
Come on, bro. Why? How is it that you looking for a woman that you already had, according to your logic? Because either something ain't checking out where you ain't came out and you ain't said something about your baby mamas, or they ain't said something about you, because I don't understand how you have 3 kids and you talking about when I find my queen, she got to be this nigga got all of the standards in the world, man. Dude got all the standards in the world. When I find my queen, she got to be a video vixen type chick. She got to be Coke bottle shaped, because you cannot fight the white oppressor if you out here and you shake like a hog. Like, Omar, if you like slim thick bitches, just say you like slim thick bitches, nigga. Don't try to intellectualize this bullshit, Omar.
Right, but yeah, then they want to say, if you got blind hair, you can't come to my schools. Those might be the biggest finances of the school. But so you don't kick them out. You don't know. His biggest donors might be the LGBT community. You don't know because money green.
But and then he says different stuff like, well, because he gets into what the guy Tim Wise used to say, pseudoscientific bullshit. He gets into this pseudoscientific bullshit where he say, well, if they are gay, if they are homosexual, it's because they was touched, that the father wasn't in the home and all of this and all of that. And I mean, I know at least 3 or 4 gay people who had their fathers there. That ain't a prognosticator of whether or not somebody's homosexual.
That's true.
And it's not even whether or not the person was touched. But what he gets into is what I like to call lazy consciousness. And this is something else that I deal with on some of the other topics that I cover here on YouTube, is that you get people who are lazily conscious to where they will blame something that's easy because it requires research and dedication to really uncover it. So when you're talking about the effeminization and the homosexuality, talk about the extra estrogen that's given to the cows to make them fatter. But when the kids drink milk, now all of a sudden they got extra estrogen in their system. Cheese got estrogen in it.
Not only that, we ain't even looking at we ain't also looking at the fact that most of the animals that we eat are female animals, from the chicken to the beef to, you know what I'm saying, all these are female. The catfish is a female fish. We ain't understanding the estrogen assault against the black community.
I mean, and that might be something that we might have to actually come back and talk about, because that's a full-blown topic in and of itself.
Right.
But when you start getting into, hey, well, listen, the father wasn't there and the uncle touched him, and so that's why all of these guys are gay. And it's like, yeah, we have seen, we haven't really, to be honest with you, we have not seen a rise in homosexuality. What we have seen is an uncovering of the homosexuality that was already there. Man, we grew up.
And the thing about it is, I remember I lived with this one brother, Philip Shockley. He said, ain't nothing wrong with black people. Something happened to black people. We want to act like something did not just happen. Just like if a woman has been tortured for years and all of a sudden she have this thing for men. It's nothing wrong with her. Something happened to her. You have to be patient with her. We don't want to do the hard work. See, a lot of the hard work, there is no glamour behind it. There is no camera. So we need that camera. We need the social media platforms where we can say, I've done this. Mm-hmm. Like people have money in their pocket, say, let me see this bum ass dude over here. Let me give him some money and put it on video.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society. It's not about being right. It's about being first. What they say on the news, you heard it here first. No matter how harmful the information might be, they just want to put it out.
Well, that's the world that we are living in, because we live in one of the most violent cities in the United States. Right. And when we talking about living in a city like this, the money that people come in and siphon out of our communities, these Arabs and stuff like that. Now, me and having to do business, you find out that, hey, we can blame these other cultural groups, and when we get together, then it's a bunch of finger pointing. But it's easy to blame these groups, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work to go down to the SBA office and go down to these people and teach them how to put together a financial statement and how to structure yourself so that you can be in a position to elevate instead of congregate. And right now we still have not, as Joy DeGruy said, we still have not detoxed from slavery. We still have these gatherings where we got one gifted orator that's speaking to the masses, corralling the emotions of the people. And then when we leave with the same thing that we came with, which is practically nothing. But we need to have workshops to teach kids at 7, 8, 9 years old what a financial statement is. Why you should take your tax refund money. Don't buy Jordans. by property. Property in by virtue of what it is. It's
Right, and then show them. See, we are visual people. We got to show it. A lot of people just talking stuff. Like, you got to, matter of fact, there's a really good thing people should look up. It's called Maslow hierarchy of needs. See, we don't. A lot of times we don't understand that it's the base levels of things that we not even covering, but yet we want people to elevate themselves. No one cares nothing about higher consciousness. If I'm hungry, I need somewhere to sleep. I need some food to eat. It's just like when I be seeing these people donating food to the homeless. You want to give out turkey to the homeless. Where they gonna cook that at? Where they gonna cook that at? You giving out canned food like they walking around with a thing full of can openers. That's like giving you a bank full of $1 million in it with no combination to the lock. It's called a backhand compliment.
It's the Nino Brown effect, which leads me to my next thing, bro. Was one of the things that I talked about yesterday is that you had a lot of HBCU grads who spoke out against primetime Deion Sanders, and these folks are very disingenuous because the greatest thing or the most prominent thing that ever came out of the HBCUs was the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, or where they harmed all of those black men. Can you speak to that?
Now I'm gonna leave that alone right now, bro. That's a whole nother. I want to be accurate when I say something on that. I'm gonna leave that alone right now.
For those of y'all who were not tuned in, let me go ahead and clarify that up for y'all. If you go onto the CDC's website and you research the Tuskegee Institute's syphilis experiment, you will see where a eugenics experiment was carried out where black men were infected with syphilis and left it untreated. They left it untreated. And they went over there and started killing and maiming those dudes and gave them disease, and they rolled that up into a rug and tried to forget all about that version of history. But when you talk about Tom Joyner, the Ricky Smileys, the Steve Harveys, all of those guys are a branch off of that tree, and that's a part of the history that gets left behind about the HBCUs. So y'all had to check into the show yesterday for that information. But back to today, in the crooked ways of Dr. Umar Johnson, you have agents of misinformation that J. Edgar Hoover in the 60s put into play. There are declassified FBI documents talking about we want to kill and stop the rise of the Black Messiah, where you deliberately put agents of misinformation there. And I fundamentally have a problem with separatist ideals and separatist strategies, because you cannot infiltrate the system from outside of the system.
Right.
The only way you can infiltrate, and I'm speaking to you from military logic and warfare here, not from emotion, which is what the Umars and the Nation of Islam orators that they like to speak to you. But I'm speaking to you from as a military strategist. I cannot infiltrate something from outside of it. When the government comes in and they try to set somebody up, they don't send somebody in who don't look like you. As a matter of fact, they gonna send somebody in who looks exactly like you. And this is what they were trying to tell us in 1973 when the film came out entitled "The Spook Who Sat by the Door." This brother in this movie, this is a real deep movie for my conscious thinkers. The only way to infiltrate the system is from inside of the system. You can't come and talk about I'm gonna be separate from it, and then you're gonna rob a building from outside the building. You can't rob a bank from the outside. The only thing you could do is blow it up. But you need advanced level ammunition. You need a tactician. You need the specs, and you need skills to do it up. The best way to tackle a beast is from inside of the beast. But go ahead, brother Hotel.
I really, yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's a very phenomenal book. Very peace be upon the brother. He made his ancestral transition. Who wrote the book? But see what it is that people really don't want to put that real true work in. See, the revolution still won't be televised. Was because there, matter of fact, I know personally there are some positive things that's going on in Africa. There's positive things that are going on around the world, but you don't hear nothing about it. You gotta see. There's a sister who, oh, I'm not. There's a sister, and there's some people that cure cancer, who cure AIDS, who cure blindness, osteoporosis, but you don't hear nothing about that. You don't hear nothing about the regime. Like in Mali, they had a coup in Mali where they structuring a whole new government. You don't see how COVID pretty much passed up Africa. You don't see that. You don't see nothing going on in South America. We don't see none of the positive things, but it's about that propaganda. Propaganda has killed more people than open warfare. So when you have people like your Umars who going out here, you'll talk all the hate about black people, then you say, give me your money. Give me your money. You know, Cash App, send me. How can people track their money on PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo?
But
See, he
that's
didn't he didn't he didn't like GoFundMe because that's accountability. Now I can look at it like, okay, there's the money. What you doing with it? He don't
it's
want no transparency. He want to say, I only speak to my donors. You don't know who donated. How do you know?
it's earmarked. But this is the thing. He was basically a hedge fund raiser.
Right.
And all hedge funds, the custodian gets paid regardless of if the fund does well or underperforms, they get paid regardless. And so when you say that he's getting evicted from a home, dude, if somebody donated you $3 million, dude, you could take $300,000, and I don't give a damn what city you in America, outside of maybe LA or New York. $300,000 should be able to buy you a house in cash.
Right. Okay.
In cash. And if it don't get you a house in a good neighborhood in cash, somebody who speaks so much about the love of the people, I guarantee you $300,000 is gonna buy you a house in cash in the black community.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. You will hit the best house in the black community.
there you go. There you go. So I want you to get into um brother Neely Fuller and things that you have gathered and grasped from brother Neely Fuller on down to Francis Quest Wilson, and then we'll move forward from there.
Okay. Yeah. Neely Fuller is phenomenal, brother. I think they a few months ago they knocked him off of YouTube, but that brother is phenomenal. His famous statement is, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, and how it works, everything you think you understand will only confuse you. A lot of us we get prejudice and racist mixed up. We don't understand what it is. Racism is a power structure. Racism is prejudice plus power. But we see, but there is no such thing as black racism. See, supremacy means there is no other but me. So you can't have a black supremacist and a white supremacist. Black supremacy, what they call black racism is nothing but name calling. This black dude called me cracker at Starbucks. That's black racism. They ain't really what racism is. That's black prejudice. But we've been around these people for this long. We can't even prejudge them. We know who these people are. But that's just another way to get us off of them. You know, just like when they throw this anti-Semitic thing up. It's like, come on, man. But because I'm not into the religion, you know, I don't subscribe to being no Hebrew Israelite or no Aboriginal Indigenous American. None of that. They can have all that. I'm not a Christian, nor am I a Muslim. I'm not an Asiatic. None of that. But Yeah, Neely Fuller is he the one who was teaching Dr. Weldon about how the system of racism and white supremacy work. Because how we look at the world sees this whole breakup of race. Because there's really one race on the planet, but because they have to create a system to pick one color over the next, they have to just divide and conquer. That's a divide and conquer tactic when it comes to that. And I love our sister, Dr. Francis Chris Wells, but I also look at racism, white supremacy. I don't really like to call it white supremacy. I like to call it white fragility. We're dealing with a very fragile people. See,
Mhm.
supreme don't mean that you subdue and you hurt other people. Supreme means that your presence alone is supreme. They get around us, they clenching their purses and they because what white people have is white guilt because they know that the things that they've done to us, they're afraid that when we get in power, we're going to do the same thing. But a lot of black people say, black people, we wouldn't do that. But actually, when you think about it, it's a legitimate fear. It's legitimate because when you look at how historically, whenever a European country fell, black people rose. We've never been equal. In matter of fact, there's nothing equal in the universe. When the black man's hell is the white man's heaven, white man's hell is the black man's heaven. So there's never a duality in that thing.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, Francis Cress Wilson wrote the ISIS papers. I want to say in the 80s.
In the 80s, right?
In the 80s, she wrote the ISIS papers, the keys to the colors, and she
Right.
breaks down a lot of historically good game.
And I remember I was talking to the sister. She had a great debate with William Shockley, one of the biggest white supremacist psychologists at the time. He had look up that debate with her and him. I was like, sis, I actually thought I believe she killed that man, not directly but indirectly. Because after that debate, he went home and died because he
Mm,
never thought that a black woman would stand 10 toes with him. She was on him. She was on it, accurate with the information, no emotion, because she understood what a lot of us understand now. You don't bring emotions. No, you don't bring logic to an emotional issue.
mhm.
And she came, after that debate, he went home and died. But yeah, that sister was a giant in our community. I brought her here. I remember the first time to actually get the chance to talk to her. It was just phenomenal, and I just wish that I was able to save a lot of information because, like, she would call me. I remember I had a voicemail. She'll say, "Hey, brother Metsu, this is Dr. Wells, and give me a call to have something to talk to you about." And I don't even have that phone, but I do have a picture with me and her when she came here in 2013. But uh, peace be upon the system, man. That information is very critical today.
Mhm. Yeah, man, and like I say, I want to. I feel like Dr. Neely Fuller was the one who started it off. He was the one
Right,
who basically gave her the blueprint that
that's
she
true.
eventually went ahead and ran with,
That's
and
true.
she spawned out a lot of people who are in the consciousness today.
That's true.
And so when we talk about when we talk about the Umars and the Tariqs and you name them, Tony Browder and all of them, everybody really, with the exception of like James Small and John Henry Clark and all of those, these are people who stood on the shoulders of other giants,
Right.
right? And she was a firestorm
Yes,
in
she
the
was.
world of black psychology, black thought, collective strategizing, and black advancement, or propelling yourself into the future of blackness, so to say.
Right. Even when it comes to black psychology, I tell people now because even though I have my discrepancy with Umar, it's like, man, y'all can if you can read the books of Dr. Amos Wilson and be well rounded when it comes to the psychology of black children and black male female relationship. You don't really need to go listen to the Umar. Read the books of Our good brother, Dr. Amos Wilson. Phenomenal books. The Blueprint for Black Power, New World Order versus Black Consciousness. I mean, the brother put some. He really put phenomenal work in when it comes to the psychology. But Umar, he just another hustler, man. He's just another Cleflo Dollar, TD Jakes, Eddie Long.
I mean, I remember a couple years ago, like I think that it cost like $1,600 to go to Egypt, right? This is
Right.
like maybe, man. This was a. I want to go stay with Dr. Laila Africa, who since passed one summer. This had to be about 9 years ago or something. And we were over there, and I know that, man, tickets over to Africa were only like maybe 1,600, and I think it was Renuko Rashidi and Umar were charging like 3,400 for to go over there and to tour and stuff like that. And I remember being over there, and Dr. Melanie Stevenson, Laila Africa's wife, she was like, man, just take the trip. You paying all that extra money to have Umar's dick in your ear. Fuck you.
Mm.
Feel me? And hey, Dr. Stevenson Cole with that shit. You feel me? Don't be fooled by all that shit you see on YouTube. Hi. No. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you what year it was. It was like it had to be about 2016 because it was the year LeBron was going back to Cleveland because she's originally.
Okay. Because I remember when you came back, we rapped about it. I remember when soon as you came back, we talked.
Yeah, this is about 2015, 2000, whatever year it was. LeBron left Miami and went back to Cleveland. It was that year.
Okay.
But yeah, man, like just real talk all together. Um, there are just different things and different strategies that just need to be employed. And again, you can't talk about strengthening the black community until you start talking about strengthening our food sources and things like that. Now, this dude went out here and bought this building, and he's supposed to have horticulture labs. Dude, where the hell is the horticulture lab?
He's supposed to have an airport in the back,
He's supposed
space
to,
station in the center.
this nigga is selling a dream.
Selling the dream. He's supposed to be teaching you how to build cars in the factory and in the backyard.
I mean, I guess Santa Claus gonna deliver that shit. We just tripping, Santa
A
Claus is.
lot of people who are people got to understand there's a difference between being conscious and being conscientious. See, a lot of these people they still holding on to their religion, hoping that somebody's going to do this for them. This shit, freedom is something you got to get through your own hands, or you don't get it at all.
Well,
Because once you understand how this stuff works, it's like I remember. I ain't gonna say the brother's name. I remember this one guy. I learned a lot of information from him, and then he turned around and do some slick shit, and then want to try to act like people were stupid. Like, man, you can't bring me into a certain awareness and start thinking, and then want to pull that shit when I didn't know no better. You might as well kept me asleep to pull it. Don't take the veil off my face and then act like I don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
Like with Uber, like matter of fact, I remember this was probably 2004, 2013 or something. I had a meeting with a few brothers of mine. We sitting talking, and I'm telling them about different things I've learned over the past. I'm like, man, we need to get our own institution. We need to do it. He like, brother, if I one of the brothers like, man, I had a lot of property last year. He said, if I would have knew you last year, I would have gave you a building. Would have just gave it to you. I wouldn't have charged you nothing. He was like, man, I was just trying to get rid of my shit. Like, I wish I would have knew you last year. So you mean tell me a young dude as me at that time getting offered a building for free, and this dude Umar, you known around the world, and no one has ever offered you like, here you go, you can go and have it.
Well, again, you're talking to. Listen. Listen, bro. You are a businessman. Ever since I know you, matter of fact, I met you as a businessman, right? So listen, I ain't trying to count your money or nothing like that. But when you doing business on a street level, you got shoebox money.
That's true.
You feel me? And like that's on like the basic street level.
Right.
When you're doing business on a bigger street level, you got safe deposit box money.
Right.
But then when you're doing business, you gonna have too much. If you're doing business in the square world and you really dealing with chips, your money got to move past the safe deposit box into an account because the type of people that's paying you that keeps record in the IRS need they cut.
Right.
But when the IRS take they cut, those people are financially savvy enough to have an accountant and an advisor who, when they get ready to make a deposit to somebody like Umar, then the accountant is gonna get with Umar and say, "Let me talk to your people so that we can look over your paperwork." And when they look over his paperwork and they see you a school psychologist with no school, you a school principal with no school, you are for the advancement of black folks with no damn job. You the cousin of Marcus, you the cousin of Frederick Douglass, who family said we don't know you.
Right.
Then anybody who any good accountant with who's worth his credentials is going to advise you not to do business with this scam artist.
Right.
And that's what has happened. This is flat out.
Look, and then even when you look at the levels of business, you mean to tell me you got this going on and he's out there by himself. We got to get this. We got to get the plumber. I remember he made an ass of himself when he went on Lord Jamar show. Lord Jamar was like, look, my father-in-law is doing the same thing you're doing. He can issue some help. He said, I don't need no help. I got everybody. I got everything. I just need the money. Really? If you got all these people online, they would do it for free and get their money on the back end.
But you have to listen, when you talking about getting money on the back end, you have to be stepping to people with some type of financial plan in order to show me on paper when I'm getting my money back. I can't take your word for it.
Right, but if you look at the documentary I was thinking about, there was some people that was willing to give free hours to the school, to the hustle builders. He said no. I want the money. Give me the money and I'll allocate it where I need to put it.
I mean, this guy, man, he's truly a piece of work.
But as I said before, only thing I don't like about it is he's making it harder for legitimate people who already got it together, got everything together. To even they now everybody gonna say, "Oh, you just like Umar." No, you sound just like them. As I said, Sabi has a clinic in West Africa. Right now, it's already built, it's already put together, it's already servicing the community, and it's hard for them to get any donation. But this dude, he come to St. Louis, he get $5,000. He go to Japan and get in a jacuzzi and taking photos and come on, man, really? Then he said he the most requested. Last time he came here to St. Louis was it last year? He came to Legacy Cafe that hold no more than 70 people. How you the most requested? You go from a school to an auditorium to a small ass cafe.
Well, when he said he said he's the most requested. He didn't say he's the most attended. Nigga, you gotta listen to the words.
Okay, my bad. You're right. You're right.
You could be the most requested, but then that don't mean that you're the most suggested. Nigga, those are two different things.
Okay. And then this is self-proclaimed. It's like, oh, I'm the Prince of Pan Africa. The real Prince of Pan Africanism never told you who he was. The real Prince of Pan African was our brother Stokely Carmichael. But he never posted it up there.
Well,
a real Prince of Pan African was Dr. Amos Wilson. brother Renoka Rashidi, Dr. Layla African, but he has an ego going on with him. Ego starvation is our brother Dr. Uh, Jahir Clark talked about.
I mean, man, when you really get down to the bottom of it, Umar is destructive to the black community,
That's true.
and we have to call it out
Right.
because we already are a resource deprived people, and
Right.
he's only there strictly for the stealing of resources.
Right.
He's not there for the advancement or the empowerment of anything. He's only there to take away from the community.
We don't need another TD Jakes. We got the one we trying to get rid of the one we already got. We don't need another one.
Get ready, get ready. I mean, come on, man. Come
TD
on,
Jakes
man.
is something else, boy. Oh, you know what's interesting? I remember this African story. It was a story of the Lion of Truth went swimming one day. You know, they twins. Lion of Truth went swimming one day. And while the truth was in the water, the lie got out and put on the true clothes. Now the naked truth is chasing after a well-dressed lie.
Mm.
So we'll listen to the dude with the suit, but we don't want to listen to the brother with the t-shirt. But you gotta understand that the America's biggest thieves came in the suit. They didn't come in. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You know what, bro? We've been saying that. We have been saying that, dude, for the last 8-9 years. I know that we've been saying that. I know I've said that to you for the last 8 to 9 years, man. Listen, dude. Every time somebody lied to you, they lied to the biggest liars or the biggest people who fuck you over were suits. The bank
Right.
fuck you over in a suit.
Right.
Your pastor fuck you over in a suit. Your mortician fuck you over in a suit. Your lawyer fuck you over in a suit. Your doctor fucks you over in a suit.
In the suit.
Tell them to take off the goddamn suit.
But the reason why we trust him, he got on the truth suit.
But I mean, if we
The
really want to
naked
get
truth is
into it,
being chased by a well-dressed lie.
but like let's really get down deep into it. Because listen, Dr. Laila Africa told me one time that if you really look at the way that a suit is cut, that's the way that the white folks used to cut open bodies when they were in the cave.
Right.
And so they pattern the suit after a way that they would perform autopsy to do cannibalisms when they were eating each other in the caves. But
I got so many of his books. I didn't know that one. That's deep.
yeah, man, you got to go back and find.
Say that again,
Man, when you get, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close it on out, bro, because I think the people got fatigue now. But when you talking about blonde hair and blue eyes, these are genetic defects. This is the precipice, the epitome of whiteness. This is Aryanism. But blonde hair and blue eyes are genetic defects. Most of your white women who have blonde hair, they're not really blind. They dye their hair to get them to that color. Now, when you start talking about the long fingernails, when you see sisters wearing acrylic fingernails, that comes from cave culture. Even when you talk about the lipstick, that comes from cave culture. Because if you over there, you eating blood, you got blood on your lips. What color was lipstick originally? It was red, ruby red lipstick. Come on, man. When you start talking about a suit, this is the way that they would sit up and they would cut a body open in order to feast on another human in order to survive. They were cannibals. The cave culture is a cannibal culture. This is where these things derive from. And the reason why they picked the blonde hair and the blue eyes with the long nails and stuff like that, again, The blonde haired and the blue eyed ones, they were the most vicious. They are genetically fucked up. Everything ain't there. Even when you
Yeah,
talk
when they
about,
say the blondes have the most fun.
there you go, because it's a dumb blonde. It's a really sit there.
Okay. You dropping it, brother. I appreciate that. Wow.
When you
Because
really
a lot
sit
of people
there,
don't know that lipstick got rat poison in it.
yeah. But
They put the
listen, when
rat
you really
poison in
sit
to blow the lip up.
when you really sit there, right, and really think about it, okay, you have when you talk about white culture came from the Mediterranean Sea. No matter how you want to chop it, but or they love to say, the Jewish people love to say, we started off in the Middle East. None of that, none of that land, none of Southern Europe, none of the Middle East is fertile ground for growing any type of crops. So everything that you would have ate would have had to come from Northern Africa. That's the only place that you're going to be able to get your food from. Now, when you start looking at the African cultures, the further south you go in Europe, the darker the hair gets, the more olive complected the skin gets. See, when people said that the Italians had olive skin, they were thinking about green olives. Olive is black, goddamn it. But when you start talking about that, the darker that their eyes get, the further north you get, the more that those features start to die down. To when you start getting up there to Britain and to Ireland and Scotland, these people are basically pale. They pale. But these folks who went up north, they got caught in the Wormian ice. Look, we ain't gonna get off into that. My point is that most of the beauty standards of today are created by genetic abnormalities.
Right. That's
You
a fact.
feel me? And I'm gonna say that. Go ahead and say your piece, man, before we close
Right.
it up.
I appreciate that, bro. Because I remember one brother, one brother said something that was interesting. He ain't a conscious dude, but he said something interesting. He like these pants, man. I was like, Mark, why you sagging your pants? He like, man, these pants made for somebody who ain't got an ass. I started laughing like, wait a minute. The pants that are designed, they are not designed with an ass in intent. It was made for a flat ass, for what Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, Miss 6 o'clock. Straight up and down iron board back. So it ain't made with no curve. It's made to just pull straight up and put on. African people, we have shape. European is straight up and down. So when you see, but it was just interesting how he said that. But I definitely appreciate your spiel, brother. But we need to stop supporting Umar. We need to stop
Definitely.
putting money in this man. This man is a functional addict. You can be a functional addict, but you can't be that off the people's back. Because all they're gonna do is see, the more we keep funding him, the worse his condition gonna be. And then we're gonna turn around and say, oh, what, why did this happen to him? You're funding his own, you're funding his demise. You
Fact.
cannot you cannot have an operation, you cannot have a business running off no cash app and PayPal. How you have a business, you got a building structure run off cash app and PayPal.
Well, you gotta hustle running off Cash App and PayPal.
There you go.
But again, man, man, I thank you for coming on to the show. Thank you for coming on to the platform. Man, you lit this damn thing up. Man, we appreciate the knowledge, man. We appreciate this. Uh, going forward, man, I'm trying to speak more about the consciousness, trying to speak more about what's actually going on in the world and about the state of the Black Union. And so,
I would definitely love to bring some more information to the table, bro. I
man,
love you. I appreciate you, man. Everything that you do. Been knowing you forever, so I'm with you. Whatever you need me to do, brother, I'm with you. Whether I gotta slide some money to you, gotta come up. We met up many times. You didn't pick me up. We family, bro.
Man, for sure, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. And we finna go ahead and take it to the bridge, man.
All right, see you on the battlefield.
All right, yes, sir.
Peace.
All right, y'all. We gonna go ahead and we gonna take this on to the bridge. Man, definitely, man. If you like the information, man, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, we definitely appreciate you for coming out.
Record store. Armed robbery? What? Let me tell you something. This hasn't stopped the rest of the group from doing their own things. My main man, Dead Mike, solo tip in his most personal recording yet. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, 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 y'all, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, because I'm black. Cell Block Force DJ, Stab Master Arson, says, bang, I got my own thing. He's calling his group silent, but dead.